Today, we're boldly going where no one has gone before. Up next. What is up, everyone? This is Everything Board Games. I'm your host for today, Paul, the Techno Funk Boy. Was really looking forward to this one in particular, and I'll, without, won't bury the lead here. It didn't disappoint. We're going to be talking about a tabletop role-playing game. This is Star Trek Adventures. Now, you may have run across this particular system before. This is the second edition that is coming out soon. It is available for pre-order. This is actually a game that I played in first edition and liked quite a bit. In fact, I would have loved to have played more of it. I just have friends who wanted to stick with something else. Y'all have been there, I know. But this was something I very much enjoyed. I liked this particular property. Could be difficult in approaching, and we'll get into the challenges here in just a little bit. But as I mentioned, this was something that I've played that I very much liked, and so when I saw that it was a second edition, I for one was very excited about it. And Modifius was kind enough to provide me a copy of the PDF book for the purposes of this review. Really appreciate that, and I have to say that this book does a lot of stuff right. We'll get into those details in just a little bit, but let's start off with the game itself, and then we're going to get into what in particular second edition does. So the game, first of all, the original Star Trek Adventures has been out for several years. There are many different adventures available for it, different source books for different regions of the galaxy, and there's a lot of material already out there. One of the things that was promised with the second edition was that stuff was not going to become obsolete. This wasn't the point of this is not to create a new game with the same title and make you rebuy all the books that you've already bought. The point of this was to take the game that we have, that we love, and streamline it more, make it smoother, make it easier to get into. And this is what we're going to get into, the particular challenges of Star Trek. Before we even get into the game itself, the challenges of Star Trek as an IP, as a property here, that I think a lot of different properties don't have. And that is how the crew is so particularly specialized and organized. See, when you're playing like Star Wars and stuff, you might lean more mechanic, or you might lean one way or another. But when the blasters start firing, that's not going to matter all that much. And it's kind of the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. When we have games that are so combat driven, or even so role play, but in a social aspect driven, they your particular place in there it might dictate what you do in the battle, whether you're healing somebody, where you're hitting somebody, where you're casting a spell. But it's you all are still involved in that thing. That's not the case in Star Trek. Geordi is in engineering, and he doesn't go to the planet all the time, or even most of the time. Even in the role play aspects, you are still part of this military organization, and you have a particular role in that organization, and that's going to put you in a certain place doing a certain thing. That's the challenge here. And Star Trek Adventures does that really, really well, which is the main reason I really liked it. The adventures are structured like an episode would be, where there's a problem, and each person is going to very often splinter off into different sections to add something to the solution, whether it is as in a science role, in an engineering role, in a command role, whatever the case may be. You're going to be working in that area, and contributing something, even in the adventures that are more focused on a particular role. And we've seen those episodes where it's going to be more focused on Scotty than others have been, or or it might be more focused in a medical situation, and the focus is more on that one particular character. The other characters are still going to be contributing. The captain role is the challenge there is to be the gathering point of everything, and then the spokesperson for the solution. And it's a little bit of different vibe around the table than I've gotten from most games, and it's one that really pulls on those nostalgia strings for the shows themselves. The dice system here is going to kind of steer you into your your career lane, while at the same time pulling on your background, on your experience, to add to your solution. Your target role, when you are rolling dice, your target role is going to be based on your skill in that particular field, but also the different different situations and stuff that you come in with, and so you basically, your target number is pulling from a lot of different areas in a way that really makes sense, and is easy to implement. You also gain strength from the team's successes. And this is done through momentum, where if the person before you is succeeding, that starts carrying over, and you're able to you're basically essentially able to bank momentum, pull it out of the bank, and use it as the situations get tougher, and that way, as a team, you're also helping one another in each particular area. Now, what does second edition do? I mentioned before that it's not meant to just wipe out what's come before, but to be compatible with what has come before. The main thing here is that we're streamlining the game now. They've made the game easier to understand, easier to implement, and easier for especially new people coming in, but not in a way that's breaking the old game. If you have, the first edition and you like it, and that's the way your table plays, you're going to be fine. There's going to be a little bit of translation, but not much at all. Where, like in D&D terms, we're talking like the difference between first and second edition there, where, we're gonna be adding some things and shifting some things slightly, but you're gonna be fine. In the same way, if you're getting the second edition book and you're looking at all the adventures that's come before and think, oh, that looks interesting, you're gonna be fine. The the bulk of the mechanics are staying the same, or near enough that they're going to make complete sense to you, whichever edition that you're playing. Some other things that I like about the book is that in the original Star Trek Adventures core rulebook, you were a little limited on the races that you were able to play from there, and races got added on as the game expanded into different source books. But there were some immediate ones that would be rather popular that are missing. In my own game, I had one friend who immediately say, "I want to be a Ferengi." It's like, well, okay, I had to go find. I could hunt down where the Ferengi rules were. We have a much expanded set of races in this book. And so you're going to find a lot more options when it comes to character creation here. In addition, the game is drawing from more sources now, because since the first edition came out, we've had Discovery and Picard and Lower Decks and such, and so more of that information has been incorporated into the book as well. Star Trek Adventures has always been, in first edition as well, one of those things that you can take to whichever era, whichever area you want to, and so you can play a classic original series type adventure, or you could be more, next generation or something in between. And this was going to accommodate you. That's remaining true. It's just grown a little bit to incorporate the new material. The other thing that this book is going to give you is a sample adventure, and it is actually a medicine focused adventure, but it's going to be a really good example of how the team dynamic is going to work, even as people are separating, researching their own thing, and then coming back together to come up with a solution. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was one that you were that your players are going to be expecting is one thing, and then it turns into something else, and it's going to keep them on their toes. It's going to give a really good example of what they're in for when they're traveling around the stars in a Federation ship. All in all, as I mentioned before, I'm really, really happy with this new edition. I'm happy as somebody who has several of the old adventures and several of them that I'm still very interested in playing at some point. As somebody who actually has kids that are getting into Star Trek for the first time, and I'm looking at this already, going, oh, okay. That would be fun to play with them. Possibly not for a couple of years, but pretty soon. I'm very pleased that this is keeping what has come before, letting us but making it smoother, making it better, and in a way that we can keep playing those old adventures, that we can keep exploring those stories while moving forward as well into a new area of the galaxy. Very happy with this one, and I will definitely be playing this one in the future. Links to the pre-order and all of that are below. Also check out everythingboardgames.com. You're going to find more reviews of board games, tabletop role-playing games, as well as Kickstarter spotlights and other news there. And if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do so. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment, and I really do appreciate it. We will catch you next time. Take care.